Alright, welcome to this video, and in this video I want to show you how I usually just work and how I usually just work on my edits. And I was scrolling Unsplash like I usually do, and I found this image. And this image actually reminded me of some edits that I created, like this, like these four. Oopsie. And I thought maybe, like as you can see, it's quite some time ago that I created them. So I thought maybe it's time to create a new one. So I downloaded this picture, and obviously we need an animal. So I just typed in animal and I scrolled down a little bit and I found this little guy, and I thought it would look pretty funny. So I downloaded both images and let's see what we can do with them. So I actually want to position this guy here, perhaps like this, and just grab our other image of the raccoon, baby raccoon, and double tap the thumbnail so we can zoom it out and position it. Alright, that looks pretty funny. So now we need to select the raccoon because we don't need this green stuff all around. So let's try, oopsie. Let's try to select our raccoon. And the foreground grass is not a problem. I think we can just blend it in with a new stuff. But let's try to select this raccoon. And I'm just going to use the refine button. Okay. And I just brush over the parts now that I want Affinity Photo to have a closer look at, in the hope that it will improve our selection, and it actually kind of did. So let's press apply. And now when we mask our subject out, we can see how Affinity Photo did, and actually I'm pretty happy with the result. I mean, there's could be worse for sure. Let's refine our mask a little bit. So we press Alt and click on the mask so we can see our mask in black and white, and it actually looks pretty clean. Let's use one of my fire brushes. This one. Get into the mask. Oh. Let's mask some out of this green stuff out. A good trick is to, good thing to know is that you can turn around the brush with the arrow keys. So left arrow, right arrow. It's really useful. Alright, it shouldn't be so hairy, but doesn't matter. We'll blend it in. So there's our little guy. We don't need this stuff, so let's get rid of it. Shift delete and select secondary color so it will fill with black our selection, and that means hide in the mask. So I think if we position our raccoon here, we create a levels adjustment layer and we clip it to our raccoon, and we decrease the shadows to right about here. And then I invert the mask by pressing Command I, and I grab my gradient tool by pressing G, and I drag a line from here to here, and this point should be, the white one should be black, no, should be white, and this one should be black. What about this? Alright, let's take care of our mask a little bit. Grab a soft round brush, decrease the brush size with the bracket keys, and brush over with black, with low opacity. Alright, that looks fun. And now we want to create some shadows underneath our raccoon. So I create a new layer below our raccoon and grab some dark green color, make it a little darker, and set the blend mode to darken. And we brush some shadows in. Alright, now it looks horrible, but when I can fix that. So what I'm gonna do now is gonna decrease the exposure around here. So now I just want to see when these colors are the same, and that's right now. And then I'm gonna do the same as with the adjustment layer. I'm just gonna invert the layer mask, and I'm gonna use a gradient tool to make a nice gradient. So the gray point should be black, no, white, sorry. Black, sorry, should be black. And the other point should be white. And now you can see it kind of blends in better. What we could do to fix this a little bit is to draw some clouds here, and I've got some nice homemade cloud brushes over here. I'll put these available soon, I'm not sure when. Create a new layer above our raccoon, above everything actually, and just draw in some clouds. No, that's too hard. Reduce the opacity. No. Come on, go away. Oops. That looks pretty good. Better than before. Alright, I think our raccoon is a little bit too dark. So what I want to do now is create another levels adjustments layer levels adjustment layer and decrease the blacks. But we only wanted to affect the edges but not the face, because the face is sticking out of the clouds. So now I'm gonna mask out this part of the effect with black. And we can use our cloud brush as well and just get our face out a little bit better. And we can reduce the opacity like so. And we should also let this hand out a little bit. So that's this layer. Then we want to make it alright. And kind of looks like he's sticking out his hand out of the clouds. And that actually looks pretty cool. What could we add? Some. So you can see the light here is from this image is coming from the right, so we should do something with it with a raccoon. So let's create some shadow layers on our raccoon by creating a new adjustment layer, exposure adjustment layer, and we're gonna darken it. And we're gonna invert the mask by pressing Command I again, and this we're gonna use to actually burn in some shadows. And because the light is coming from here, you should have some shadows here at the ear, here, here obviously. Something like that. I think we can even make it darker. And I think our raccoon has too much saturation as well, so let's decrease the saturation by creating a vibrance adjustment layer and just decrease the saturation and the vibrance. And I think it's still too visible, our raccoon, so I want to make these even brighter. And what if we would make another one like right here? Just by, oopsie. What happened? Where's our raccoon? There it is. By copying this one, by pressing Command J. And now we have a duplicate. Oopsie, we don't want this. And I think we can, no, we cannot rasterize it yet, but we're gonna put it right behind our other dude. Let's erase this stuff as well. Oh, sorry. to select the layer mask, so let's do that again. Let's select this thing, select the layer mask, press Shift Delete and choose secondary color so that it will be removed. We're gonna put this guy here and we're gonna make it almost invisible. We can rasterize the layer so that my tiny laptop can still run it. And now we're just gonna mask out this part with black, obviously, and not with a cloud, with some proper brush. Increase the brush size with the bracket keys and erase this. Alright. I think it could be opaque even a bit more, like so. And now actually the light is coming from the wrong direction, but I don't care too much. I can fix it a little bit by creating an adjustment layer. Like so. Invert the mask and draw a gradient from here to here. Put this one, the gray one, we put it white. And this one we make black. Oops. That's what I meant. Yeah. So now the light is kind of coming from the same direction. And what can we do? Maybe mask this out a little bit. That's one cloud layer. Let's use some more clouds to make these edges less. Something. Well, I think that looks pretty funny. Maybe we could choose some final adjustments on this image. I don't know what to change. I think it's pretty funny like how it looks. Maybe I should blur the guys. That would make sense. So let's blur the front guy a little bit. Not too much. That's fine. And this back guy, let's blur him a little bit more. Like so. Maybe we should delete him. I think I'm gonna get rid of him. I think that's about fine. I want to create something here because it looks empty, so let's find some grass hills. Let's see what would fit. Maybe these could work. Let's try it. There we go. Copy and paste. And reduce the size a little bit. Put it in the background. And let's mask out this front image. Maybe like this. And then make the mask better. And make it a lot brighter. Background. Yeah, like this looks actually pretty cool. Maybe we want to see some trees. This looks better. Alright, and now I want to desaturate this because it's way too green. So let's add a vibrance adjustment layer and desaturate the whole stuff a little bit. And maybe make it even wider. Alright, and what can we do next? Let's do some general adjustment layer. Maybe I should save it first before my laptop crashes. So let's save it on our desktop and let's call it Giant Raccoon. Let's clip this to the background. Let's group this and call this background. This is foreground. This is shadow. This must be Raccoon. This is fog and this is also fog. Alright, let's add some curves layer just to play around and see how we can change our image by changing some values. Alright, and then we go to the blues. Let's start with the reds. Like so, maybe. Then we go to the greens. Let's reduce the greens a little bit in the shadows and leave the greens in the highlights. And the blues, I think the blues are just fine. Maybe increase the blues a little bit in the shadows. But the highlights shouldn't get too yellow. Oopsie. So let's delete this point. And maybe add some. Hola, that was not what I meant. Actually, I want to keep it like this. Alright, before and after. I think it's finished. Usually I would slap on my my signature. I usually copy just from another image like this one. And there we go. And that's how I usually start working and create something. And well, there's some other things that I could do, like darken the foreground a little bit and I don't know, add some birds or something, but I think I will leave it like this for now.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment on what you would like to see next. If you enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. Then I hope I will see you in my next video.